Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to the show. It's Kirk Sheppard here on Conversations. It's tonight, Sunday night, May the 3rd, and I'm very excited that you're with me for a very special edition of the broadcast. We're going to have a great time tonight, and I'm glad that you're all coming into the room. Come on in. We're going to do a live Q&A a little bit later on in the broadcast, so stick around for that soon. But first, I want to talk about our guest today. So you see we are already transported through the lights behind me to the land of Oz, and we are about to meet one of the characters, one of the actors in that incredible show. If I can get my technical things to work here, testing it out here. Let's see. This set the mood. Did that work? Having a little bit technical problem. Well, anyway, here we go. Let's bring this in. Okay, my computer is being difficult. There we go. Hey, our guest today is in a musical that is in its 17th year on Broadway. He's part of the national tour. It's the 5th longest running show on Broadway and is the second highest grossing musical of all time, bringing in over $1 billion so far and more. Please welcome my friend, my guest. This is DJ Plunket.
Hi.
There you are. Hello. Having some technical things. I hope that things are working okay. The screen seems to be doing some weird stuff, but I think we're good. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Just so you know, I'm seeing a bunch of different things on the screen.
Yeah, I know. I'm having some computer problems. I think we're overtaxing our system with all these fancy things. Stick with us here, folks. We'll be back in a second to the live pictures of DJ. Well, you can hopefully hear us okay. Let's see. Let's get that there. I don't know. I'm having trouble. It's being difficult.
That's okay. This is literally the theme of 2020 anyway.
Yeah, you know, what a year, right? So it's been in some ways...
an hour to get this on-time birthday party up, so...
There we go. Oops, that didn't work. Where are we going here? Why does it keep showing that footage? I don't know. I don't know why that's on the screen, but it's not supposed to be. There you are.
Hi.
There we go.
Yes,
and then she's back again. I don't know why she keeps coming back to haunt us. Alphaba really wants to be here. Okay, I think we got it now. I think I figured out what I was doing wrong. You know, don't mind seeing that footage. It's pretty great. I was supposed to see that show live yesterday and actually hug my friend DJ backstage and take my mom on a backstage tour. But, of course, due to COVID, it didn't work. So, I don't know. It's being really... I can see you pretty good now. Can you see me okay? Hopefully you folks can see us in the room. We got a lot of folks here watching. If you can see it, a comment in the room that I can know you're here. We're just figuring this out. This is the second week, and I may have overtaxed the system a little bit with all the fancy graphics. But we're trying. We're learning. I need a new computer. If you want to donate to the Amazon wish list, go ahead and do that.
No.
All right, DJ. So where are you at right now?
I'm in New York City. I'm in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan.
And, there she goes again. Okay, we're going to get rid of this because that's not working. My switching tool that I was going to use is causing me problems. All right. There. Let's see. That's the Skype window. I don't know why it's doing this. Anyway, you're in New York City, and I think you're supposed to be in Columbus right now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you're not, but maybe someday again, sometime, we'll be able to do that again. What's it been like? So, you know, let's just walk us through kind of your journey to Wicked. So, you can start as early as you want. You were a child actor, and kind of, boom, here you are.
Yeah. So I grew up in Lynn, Massachusetts, and I was a child actor at North Shore Music Theater and the Greater Boston Theater Company, which used to be Stoneham Theater, along with a lot of other theaters in Boston. I trained and got my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Musical Theater at CCM, and then moved to New York City and got myself an agent and started the long journey of survival jobs and auditions, and then that led me to Wicked. That's the spark notes of it.
Well, there's a little more to it than that. You did a lot more to it than that, but we're still seeing Alpha here.
Wonderful Jackie
It's great.
Byrne.
It's a really great video that I was able to pull. I just don't know why it keeps overlaying it on top of you when I don't want it to do so. But hey, we're going to figure it out. So you're in New York now, and you're just chilling, really, right?
Yeah, I've been very bored. My roommate and best friend also went back to Massachusetts, so I have been in full solitary confinement for close to 50 days now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been great.
There's me. Okay, that might have fixed it.
Okay, there's you.
There's you and me. Okay. I think I must have pushed a button that made that stay on there permanently. Anyway, we're back. Yay. We'll be doing...
Did you happen to watch the Sondheim birthday 90th birthday video?
I did not see it yet. I think I was live last week on the show when it was
live last week, and
so was I. So
it took them a full hour to get it up.
Oh, well, then we're doing better than them for sure. All right, so let's talk about how you and I met, because it's all about me.
Great.
How did that happen?
I met you at Kings Island. Actually, I was right. Yeah, that's when I met you. I was working as a performer at Kings Island in Ohio, which is a theme park, sister theme parks to Cedar Point. I think more people know about Cedar Point. But I was a singer there and performer doing American country, and I also did Rock and Roll Never Forgets. And Kirk was a photographer there, taking spectacular pictures of us and posting them on Facebook, giving us fantastic Instagram content, and just through...
that might even be pre-Instagram, really. I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, great Facebook content for that was following me on Facebook. And so I met you through that, and then we just connected, and through lots of lovely and horrible and wonderful and awful personal things, have a really wonderful friendship.
You might have forgotten this part. I actually babysat your cat.
Yes, you did.
That was the first time we really connected, was you needed an emergency cat babysitter.
Yeah, we did.
And I took care of that. And that's when
for a cat who was not very kind.
He was a mean cat.
I don't know where Oxford is in the world right now, which is a shame.
That's interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, we met then, and then I have been following you now around the country. I got to see you in Las Vegas, and I got to see you in St. Louis, and now I'm supposed to see you in Columbus this week, and that didn't work out, but it's okay because I'm seeing you right now here on my show, so it's fun.
Yay!
We got some questions coming in. We're going to get to those in just a little bit, so make sure you hang tight for us on that. But first, I want to do one of my favorite things on the show, which is called Rapid Response, which is where I show you pictures of people, places, or things, and then you respond to those things with whatever pops into your head, however you like. So
I'm a little bit scared. I've never done anything live on any platform of social media, so this is going to be in real time.
But you work live every night on tour, so I think you can handle the live aspect of this. Although there is a script for that, and there's not one for this, and you have no idea what I'm about to throw at you. So
I don't.
Here we go. It's the first one.
Yay! Oh, this one makes me really, really happy. Okay, so this is Christmas Carol at North Shore Music Theater when I was a teenager, and that's me holding hands with the stunning and spectacular Alex Newell. We were both in the ensemble. I was playing Boy Scrooge also in that. Yeah.
We'll get more. We'll talk about Alex in a little bit, so don't too much more there. But
I won't divulge into there. But yeah, that was not my first professional gig, but probably around third or fourth. I think I was 17 when that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, next picture.
That's my CCM class. I haven't seen a lot of them in so long. I mean, I haven't seen anybody since the quarantine. But we've been reconnecting a little bit, and we have a Facebook thread going now, and we're trying to figure out time to Zoom with each other. So I think that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I just heard from Emily Scheck's was said that her class got together on Zoom last week, and it was a good time for them. So it
Yeah,
seems like a thing to do.
A lot of people are, I think, using this time to reconnect with people. So I'm excited to hear what all of those lovely, fierce people have been up to.
New picture.
That's my fam. That's my mom, my dad, and my brother. And that picture is actually on my opening night of Wicked in Eugene, Oregon, at the Holt Center.
So let's talk about that for a second. I mean, your family has flown all over the country.
Yeah,
to see you.
I have been blessed with the most incredible family ever. They have been supportive from the first, even inkling I wanting to do this as a profession. So I'm just extraordinarily lucky. But yeah, they took me to every voice lesson, every dance class, every acting coaching. They flew around the country and saw me in almost every city that I performed in. There are some good people, and my brother is an amazingly spectacular artist as well. My parents usually joke about how they have no idea where our artistic abilities, where it came from, but
And we don't want to leave out your grandma and grandpa, who are not in the picture. I couldn't find one of them, but
yeah, Charmy and Buddy are watching the live, or will watch this live feed, so hi. Aubrey Berg, that's Bubba himself. That's the head of CCM. You could say he's the man that gave me my first opportunity into getting into CCM, which is a massive part of who I am as a performer and actor. He is wild and brilliant in every way.
And just recently retired, so
yes.
We'll see some changes coming up next year with some new folks, and we'll see if we even get back to college in the fall. I don't know what's going to happen with this COVID stuff. We'll see what happens.
I hope it's back to college. Wow. That's my Cincinnati apartment, or my old Cincinnati apartment. Kirk, I haven't thought about that or seen a picture of that in a while.
It was a really gorgeous place.
It was stunning. I wish so badly that I could pick up that apartment and plop it into New York City. It would probably cost me like $30,000 a month in rent. And that's like not even an exaggeration. I had 3 fireplaces in that apartment. I had a massive kitchen. It was lovely, and I paid $400 a month for it. So there's that. Oh yay! So these are 2 beautiful, beautiful, lovely divas that taught me how to sing. On my right is Kimberly DeAcha, and on my left is Pat Linhart. They are some of the most stunning vocal teachers at CCM. They are the reason why everyone on Broadway can mix and belt so beautifully.
We don't want to forget also Denny and Rafi there as well, who are the husbands of both of those wonderful women, and very lovely. Supportive. And here we go.
I love this. That's Big River. I did Big River in Cincinnati summer in between my sophomore and junior year, I think it was. And I played Huck Finn, and it was a dream role and is a dream role. I would do that show again anywhere. If somebody produced that in their basement, I would say yes. It was really cool, though, because it was on the Showboat Majestic, which was the oldest... I don't even know their marketing or their old marketing. It was the oldest still operating showboat in the country.
It's gone now.
From when,
they sold it and it's been shipped down the river. It's no longer there, which is sad. But it was a place for a lot of amazing shows happened here in Cincinnati.
It's definitely a Cincinnati landmark. And I also got to do Big River on the Ohio River, which was cool. These lovely ladies taught me how to dance. These are CCM's spectacular dance teachers, Diane Lala and Patty, and they are just crazy, wild, amazing energies.
Do you know how hard it was to find a picture of Patty James, who has absolutely no internet presence at all, which is staggering to me?
Actually doesn't surprise me, though. Now that I know that that's the person you were referring to, I was like, I'm sure it was probably hard to find Patty James. Ooh, that's Carrie. That was actually probably one of the cooler experiences at CCM. They were all really cool. One of the coolest shows at CCM. It was a high budget black box production where we had confetti, blood, and all types of pyro special effects, and lots of scream in your face belting.
And that's you standing on the chair with your hands on your head, in case anybody wonders.
Yes, I'm the one in the navy striped sweater, probably like wailing a B flat. Scott Coulter. Oh, all of these people. That is Vince, Amy, and Scott Coulter. All again lovely.
It was
women.
just easier to put them all in one photo, I figured. So
yeah. I also love that you're picking lovely people. I'm waiting for somebody to be like, oh, that person. But these are all spectacular people. Vince was an acting coach at CCM, who actually was very new to CCM when I was there. I only got to spend time with him, I think, the end of my junior year and senior year. But he directed me in Spelling Bee, and that is his lovely wife. And then Scott Coulter is wonderful because he's been kind of the cabaret director in the city and has used me in lots of different venues of the cabaret scene in New York, like 54 Below and Green Room 42. Where else? Well, I performed at Jazz at Lincoln Center with him. You did
the Rising Stars thing with him, right?
Yeah, and he did Broadway's Rising Stars. He's been very good to me in the city.
Yeah, and Amy, one of my dearest friends in the world, and is very supportive as well. And Vince came to see you when you did Sweeney Todd in Dayton, I think.
Yeah, he drove all the way up to Dayton. That's Leaf Coney Bear. That's my favorite. That's actually one of my favorite production photos that exists of me.
There's a patch somewhere on your bag there that I purchased, which I'm very proud of. That I was part of that show in a very small way. I don't know. We went to Joanne Fabrics, and I made you let me pay for them. You bought some things to put on the costume, and so I did.
Right. This was a really cool show, and Vince from the previous photo directed this. Originally, it had no budget at all, and just because it was CCM and a lot of these amazing designers had to do their own capstone thesis projects, we kind of got a full design team on it. But I was actually lucky enough to make my own cape that Leaf has, which is appropriate. He makes it himself in the show. So I ironed a bunch of things on there and did a really bad job sewing random fabrics together, but it was really cute. Carolyn. This is a Kings Island taken by Kirk Sheppard. I love Carolyn. She was one of my best friends, like immediate best friends at Kings Island. And she's one of those people that when she enters your life, it's like, wow, this person is a solid human being that I'm going to know for a long time. And she actually came to see Wicked in Jacksonville because she lives in Orlando now. And
she's also an incredible writer.
Incredible writer. She has the most hilarious blog ever. The Smitten Written Kitten.
She also wrote a play that not many people have read that I got to read. That was a 9/11 themed play that was just amazing.
I read that.
Yeah,
it's very good.
So I also wanted you to talk just a little bit about the Kings Island, kind of the boot camp of it all. Like, what's that routine like? What's that schedule like when you're there, and how do you stay healthy?
It was crazy. So theme park performing at any level is its own beast of performance, because you are doing 4 to 5 shows a day, 6 days a week for 4 months, I think, like May through like the beginning of September. It's grueling. It's crazy. It is hot. It's sweaty. It's nasty. It's like you said, it's its own like grueling boot camp. I always say that if you survive a theme park contract without getting a vocal injury, you're gonna have cords of steel. And so that was a really, really fun. I call them, I'm gonna probably not get in trouble for saying this, but I call them the best worst summers of my life. Sure. Because at the time I would have rather have been anywhere else performing anything else other than there. But looking back on it, I met some of the most brilliant friends like Carolyn and countless others, and it was kind of one of those love to hate it kind of places. It was it was a 12-year-old's dream. I could do 5 shows a day and then ride a roller coaster and then go home. And
well, I always tell people that if you can do theme park work for a summer, there's very little things you can't do stamina-wise in the real world, right?
Yeah. Oh, but also your question, hydrate. Just lots of water. That's me flying. This was my final performance at CCM. I was Michael Darling. And the funny thing about auditioning for this is that I had kind of cornered the market at CCM with being the young boy roles just because of my height and sensibility. But I went into this auditioning for John, the one with the top hat. So I was like, well, I'm not going to play a 5-year-old. Let's go for the 12-year-old. So I did my John audition, and casting immediately looked at me and just handed me the Michael side. So I was like, great, cool. My last performance at CCM will be playing a 6-year-old.
And you had an outside director for that show, right?
Yeah, we did. I got to fly. I got to work with ZFX, which is the flying company that comes in. And we got to do a lot of really cool fight choreography in the air, which was even new for the flying company. And that was provided by Kay Jenny Jones, who is just, like, still, hands down to this day, the coolest person I ever met. But I'm really happy that this was the show that I left CCM with, because flying over a symphony orchestra at a conservatory at a budget level of this was just, like, definitely one for the books.
How about your core? Didn't you have to work on your muscle tone a little bit to be able to get in that harness?
Yeah. Anybody that has flown on stage knows that it is so hard on your abs. Actually, that show is probably the closest I ever had to abs. You have to kind of hold yourself up, or unless you look like a flopped over sack of potatoes. That's Kevin Patrick Martin. He is like my big brother in this business. When I met him doing Christmas Carol from the first photo that you showed, and he always stays with my family whenever he's doing a show in the Boston area, and was my first sublet in New York City.
And I got to meet him when he was in town for Jersey Boys here.
Oh, right, you did. Yeah.
Starring my friend John Hacker, who maybe we'll get on the show someday.
Boys for like 3 years. That's Flounder. I think this is my favorite role, like, aside from Bach and Wicked, which I'm sure we'll get to. Flounder is something I could have run forever. I could have done that 8 shows a week for the rest of my life, especially with that group of people. That show is very, very special.
You were in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we drove down, my friend Connie and I drove down to see you, and we almost ran over a bunch of elves running through the city. And Connie almost got thrown out of the hotel in Nashville when we stayed overnight. There's a lot of stories out of that show.
You wrote a blog, didn't you?
I just did not long ago, yeah, on Medium.com. You can see it there.
That's Sweeney Todd. This was one of my other regional gigs, also in Dayton, Ohio. It was really strange, actually, to graduate, leave Ohio, move to the city, spend, I think, like a year and a half in the city, and then immediately my agent was like, "You booked Sweeney Todd, it's in Ohio." So I was back living in Ohio, but it was really fun because I got to see, I felt like I had a lot of family in Ohio.
I was thrilled because I got to see you, but
yeah. And there's Bach and Nessa at the Ozdust Ballroom. That's the amazing Amanda Fallon-Smith, who's my co-star and tour life partner. She's spectacular. This is a dream. I still, like, have to pinch myself looking at production photos of this because it took such a long time and such a long process and blood, sweat, and tears to be able to put that costume on.
Talk about Amanda a little bit more for just a second. So she's like a stunning actress and a beauty queen. And
yes, she was Miss Pennsylvania, which she hates talking about, and she's going to probably be mad that I even said that.
It's my fault.
But she was Miss Pennsylvania, and she's a Carnegie Mellon trained actress, and she is just one of those scene partners that is there with you. One of the only other people I've ever been on stage with that is like her was actually in the previous photo, was Rebecca, my Mrs. Watson. My Mrs. Lovett. Her name is Rebecca Watson. Um, that's Rebecca Watson, who is my Mrs. Lovett. She was equally just that giving scene partner that no matter what was present with you, listening, looking at you in the eye, just always safe on stage. With,
You can pass on this question if you want, but is there a time when you may have needed some help from Amanda to get you through a scene where you were saying the wrong things?
Oh yes, we can tell that story. Well, first of all, there's always a time where I look at Amanda where I'm like, help, whether it's because of and vice versa. That kind of goes hand in hand with being so present. I can trust her. I know that if something is weird in my performance or in her performance or in the audience or in that performance that night in general, we're going to get through it together. And we usually kind of have a little powwow before our big scene together and after to kind of like discuss how it went. Sometimes it's like, we just nailed that, and sometimes it's like, that wasn't it. But there was a performance long into my run of Wicked, actually, where in Governor's Mansion, which I'm not going to give away too much of the plot, but Bach is singing to Nessa, and I started singing lyrics from the first act of the show, which is this photo. And I started singing them, and then my eyes got wide because I realized what I was doing. And her eyes got wide because she was like, what are you singing? But live theater, in a split second, I shifted it, and I got back on track to the normal lyrics while having like a full-on panic anxiety attack inside. But we were just like clinging to each other's hands, just like, we're going to get through this. I don't know what words we're going to say. I don't know if Winnie Holtzman, the book writer of Wicked, wrote them, or Stephen Schwartz, but we're going to get through this scene. That's Mary. That's one of my best friends in the entire world. And that is, look, oh my God, we're so young. I think we were like 16, 17 years old.
Isn't that from a cabaret that you did?
It was a cabaret called Who I'll Be that I did with my other best friends, Katie Garrity and Alex Newell. And we did it. It was a summer right before we were all kind of about to spread across the country and do our own thing. We were all going to college. Alex is going to film Glee. And so it was kind of the last time that the four of us were going to be able to have a chance to be on stage together. And so we decided to take that into our own hands and write a cabaret. And it was wildly well responded to. It was packed and a really, really fun night, and one that is definitely special to all four of us. And that's Alex. That's one of my besties. Superstar diva that he is. Yeah, he's one of the loves that I have.
How did you meet him? I mean, how do you guys know each other?
We are from the exact same town. So he's also from Lynn, Massachusetts. And we did, when we were 13 years old, and I'm so happy that you didn't find this picture, because there's a picture that exists on the internet of Alex and I in Stuart Little the musical at North Shore Music Theater, and we are children. And he was Snowbell the cat, or Snowball. I don't know, what's Stuart Little? What's the cat in Stuart Little?
I have no idea.
But he was the cat in Stuart Little, which is hilarious casting. But that's where we met, and our mothers actually started chatting while waiting for us to be done in rehearsal, and they decided that it would be easiest to carpool. So we kind of became friends through carpooling to rehearsals, and then the rest is history from there.
And so now you can catch Alex on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist on NBC. He was in Glee, of course, and an amazing performer.
Also, 2 new singles. Which I don't know the name of. One's Mama Told Me, something like that. But they're amazing, singles that you should go download.
And of course, Alex is the one of the stars of my first actual Broadway show that I ever saw with you on my birthday, trip to New York City, where we somehow won the lottery. It was really amazing how that happened, where we got to sit really close, really cheap, and got to meet him after the show, and he is as magnificent as you say. Yeah,
he's great. And that is, you're just rounding through my whole fam. That's the brilliant Katie Garrity. That photo is one of my favorite photos of her. She just recently finished the pre-Broadway tryout, we'll call it, at Fifth Avenue for the new musical Bliss, where she plays Princess Carmela, and she is my best friend, sister, wife, life partner, domestic partner,
roommate when you're both in New York.
Roommate, mother, like she is just all of the things to me.
And she's amazing as well. I got to meet her when I was in New York, and she's fantastic.
And there's the show that changed my life.
Yeah. That's really all you have to say about that, right?
Yep.
Well, you made it through, friend. You got through all of the rapid responses.
I tried to keep it as rapid. I mean, all of those stories, places, things I could write books on. So
I'm so glad that we were able to get through that. And now what I want to do is throw it open to the room. If anybody has any questions for DJ, we'd love to answer those. Here's one. If it pulls over, there it is.
Do we have questions? I don't have it on.
Yeah. Can you see it there?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Ooh. Excuse me. What does it look like to audition for a national tour? What's the process like? Yeah, that's a big question. So typically in New York City, if you're a member of Actors Equity Association, and you have training, basically there are no rules to auditioning for anything. So I'm going to take you through a typical version of how this would go. You would have lots of training, and you would have an agent that represents you, and your agent would receive a breakdown of a role that you're right for. And they would email you and say, show up to this place at this time. You're going to be in front of these people. You're going to perform this material. And you prep it, and you go into most likely Telsey's office, which is Telsey and Company, who casts most everything now. And you would initially go in for your audition. You would do cuts from the show, some sides, which are little snippets of scenes from the show. And if casting likes you, you'll get a call back for the creative team. And if the creative team likes you, you'll get a final call back to do the material again, or maybe dance. And then your agent will hopefully call you and say, you booked it, and you'll do the show. So that's kind of how any audition process works. However, there are plenty of times where Wicked, for example, with me, I had been for the show many, many times. So the process that I just described happened 9 times over the course of 4 years, where I was just kept being brought back in, or having a work session with this person on the creative team, or having a work session with that person on the creative team, going back in for casting, not getting the role, 6 months later to a year later going back in again. So by the time I got the role, I actually had a pretty good relationship with everyone behind the table, just because it was like, oh, hi, it's DJ again. But yeah, that's how you would go about auditioning. That being said, if there's an open call in your city or state, or if you want to come to New York and just audition for something on a whim, it is possible to walk off the street, be the right person in the right place in the right time, and become a Broadway star. That's kind of what's magical and infuriating about the industry.
Yeah. My friend Regina has something to say about, she was supposed to see the show in Columbus as well. Very sad about it, as am I. Even though I've seen it a couple times, but still, was looking forward to that. I know you were looking forward to performing here.
I actually just recently looked up a photo. I shouldn't have done this. I was kind of torturing myself. I looked up a photo of what the Ohio Theater in Columbus looks like, and I was shocked. It's stunning.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I've been in it when I was a kid.
And I mean, I've played lots and lots of theaters across the country now, but I was really shocked at how beautiful the Ohio was. And I'm sad I won't be there.
Send in your questions real quick. We're going to go in a few minutes, but if you have anything else you want to ask DJ, now is the time to send it. Here's another one from Emily.
What's the best part about being in Wicked specifically? Everything. I know that's like a not an answer, but actually the answer I'll give is the opening number. Being in the opening number, I actually people don't know that most of the principals in the show are in the opening number in the ensemble. We all have our mob coats and wigs and top hats and gloves and capes, and are fully disguised in the ensemble. in the opening number, and it's my favorite part of the show because the opening of Wicked is an explosion of excitement and spectacle, and so to be a part of that, just singing a spectacular score and being in a Tony Award-winning costume covered in fog and projections and lights, and then a bubble comes down from the ceiling. It's just like, it's one of those times where I can stand on stage and not have to really worry about too much yet, and just kind of take it all in and let myself dive into the world that I'm about to live the next 2 hours in.
What do you think so far your favorite city you've been in has been?
I love this question. So when I was looking at my initial tour schedule, the ones that popped out to me were Las Vegas and New Orleans, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be part of the Wicked cast in Las Vegas and New Orleans, and that was so cool and was really, really cool. But both of those places turned out to have, they were super fun and amazing, and I got to do everything that I wanted to do in both of those places. But performing there was really hard. Vegas was really dry. New Orleans was really moist. It was very difficult to do my job in those places, and they both were a little bit much. Just overall, the energies of Vegas and New Orleans, especially we did them back to back, was just like overwhelmingly crazy. So my favorite cities on tour actually turned out to be Atlanta, Georgia, and St. Louis, Missouri. And I think it's because it kind of reminded me of Massachusetts in a way. They were urban areas, but then you could drive 10 minutes and be in a suburb, and you could drive 10 minutes and go to a mall or a movie theater. They both had wonderful aquariums and museums and fun local attractions. I think I felt the most like home.
I was really impressed with St. Louis. We drove down to see you, and we want to go back and just hang out in the city. We had a good time.
St. Louis was really cool. The City Museum was one of my favorite things to do there. And also the Fabulous Fox Theater in St. Louis is hands down the most stunning theater in the country.
Gorgeous.
Like, it took my breath away every single night.
My friend LaShonda wants to know, who's your dream co-star? Do you have one?
Co-star? I guess that would depend on what the job was, but actually somebody that I want to work with again is one of my friends, Kayla DeVion, who is currently understudying. She
should have been in the rapid responses. I can't believe I forgot her.
She's understudying Tina Turner on Broadway, and we sung together. We sung lots of duets together at Kings Island. But I would love to reconnect with her on a professional level, and do a show together. I don't know what it would be. But
I can't imagine a show where she and Alex Newell and you and Katie are all in together.
Knock on wood. It's not out of the realm of possibility, I don't think.
That'd be an amazing thing.
That would be a get your tickets today kind of show.
Kayla is currently, well, not right now because it's shut down, but she was the understudy for Tina Turner in the Tina Turner musical. Before that, she was the understudy for King Kong, and she was the first African-American Dawn, I think, on Broadway, right?
Actually, I would love to do Waitress with her. I would love to play Ogie opposite her Dawn. I think that would be really, really...
Here's another good question from Ryan.
What's a normal day look like on nights when you perform? I sleep very late.
But you're up late, too. You're a night owl.
I'm up very late, yeah. So I will usually wake up around like 10 or 11, and then I will get a Dunkin' Donuts iced latte with French vanilla swirl, which I haven't had since quarantine, and I'm really proud of that fact. And then I will go to the gym, and then I will take a shower, and I'll start to warm up physically and vocally. And then I'll probably text a member of my cast and see if anybody wants to grab lunch, dinner, whatever meal you want to call it, to have at 4 or 5 p.m. And I'll usually catch up with them, and we'll chat. And then after that, I'll go to the theater. I'm a person that likes to be in the theater kind of obnoxiously early. I like to settle in. My dressing room always has a very zen vibe to it. I like to have essential oils and then kind of start to just like really get in the zone for what I'm about to do, and kind of check in with my cast and see who's arrived, and stop at people's dressing rooms and say hello, and things like that. So then I'll do the show, and then depending on how exhausting that performance was, I'll either go home to the hotel and go back to sleep, or go to a bar with some friends.
Yeah, it's you don't have a lot of free time. People think that you just work a couple hours a night, and that's not necessarily true.
Most of doing 8 shows a week at a certain level, like a national tour or Broadway, is doing your 8 shows a week, and then the rest of your life is finding ways to be able to maintain how to do the 8 shows a week, whether it's finding a masseuse or physical therapist, or a voice lesson or vocal rest. You're kind of always working in some way to be able to do your 8 shows. And we also rehearse on top of that and have press events on top of that. So it's exhausting, but it's magical.
Shonda wants to know how you've been maintaining your craft during this quarantine time.
Maintaining my craft. I have been singing in the shower. I've been vocalizing in the shower just to make sure that my instrument is still there, and it has been dusty lately. But whenever Wicked does come back, which it will, knock on wood and not everything, this is all going to end. I want to make sure that I'm still in tip-top shape. So I've been vocalizing. I've been chatting with a lot of my other creative friends. I actually just got asked to do a reading last night. So I just downloaded that script, and I'll be doing that on Zoom next week. I also have been, and this is something that I haven't done yet, but something that I should do. So I'm going to say it.
Now you're saying it out loud. Yeah, there we go.
Saying it out loud. I have all of my acting books from college in a box that's in my bedroom right now. And I was like, I should maybe take those out and scan through them and read through old notes from CCM and see how I have either used those tools or not used those tools, or how I could, oh yeah, I did this in college. Maybe I can put that into Wicked. So that might be a fun day of exploring.
We've got time for maybe one more question. Anybody has one, send it right now. Otherwise, we will let DJ go and do whatever he's going to do for the rest of the night. Maybe he'll pull out those old books. You're watching Netflix? Yeah, if you haven't seen Hollywood, we were just talking about that before we went on the air. It's a really great Ryan Murphy show on Netflix. We're enjoying it. He's ahead of me, I think, an episode or two, but that's normal.
It also features my brilliant director, Joe Mantello.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. It's so cool to watch that. I also recommend, if you're looking for quarantine entertainment, Little Fires Everywhere was spectacular on Hulu.
Really enjoyed that. In fact, LaShonda, who asked that last question, is actually doing a discussion group privately for some of her friends where they're going to sit around and discuss some of the themes.
I want to join that. My Chistry in Wicked and I were watching it together, and my friend Brandon, and we would always text each other and have discussions after. So
Chistry is the scary monkey. Just so you all know, in case you're wondering who that is. One more question from Ryan. Here we go. Does performing the same show ever get old?
No. Yes. The answer is yes and no, but my hard answer is no, because it's so live theater. I mean, this is a cliche answer, but live theater is ever changing and alive and different every night. It kind of comes and goes in waves. And this is actually a conversation that I've had with Amanda, my Nessa, a lot, where you open the show and it has the excitement and you're discovering the character, and then 3 months in, you're kind of settled into what you do. And then 4 or 5 months in, you kind of get reignited again because you will discover something new in the character or the set or the venue, or something will kind of re-spark. And then it'll be a little bit of a lull where you're like, I can't pull any emotion out of me if I had a gun to my head. I can't feel. And then a month later, the creative team will come in and shake you up and give you a new motive or something for the scene that will make it even better than ever. So it's kind of like this big roller coaster of every month or every kind of landmark of performance that you hit, you discover something new. And so I don't ever, it hasn't gotten old yet. And I've done 7 months of Wicked now.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive. Yeah. Well, DJ, anything you want to say before we get you out of here?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Follow me on Instagram if you want. I have fun things about my life across the country and Wicked and just quarantine fun, boringness.
I'm going to try to put up this. Let me see if this works. But we may get Elphaba again. Yeah, I think it's not going to show up there. Oh no, maybe. I'll see. Yeah, here she is again. Trying to show your. There it is. I'm looking for that. There's your Instagram.
That's
right
so
there
cool.
on the screen.
So heavy, I love it.
Perfect.
But you can follow me there if you had any more questions that you didn't get to ask. I always respond to friends. So.
And we will also look and see if there's any comments that we missed, or if you're watching later and you ask them, I'll make sure they're forwarded to him in case he wants to answer those as well. Thank you, DJ.
Sweet. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Folks, make sure you come back next week. The very special Mother's Day episode of this show will feature my mama. That's going to be next Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Come back and check that out. Thank you, DJ Plunket. Check out Wicked. And we will see you right here next Sunday night at 9 p.m. for more conversation. Good night.